Hey everyone, it's Victor here, and today is Halloween. And as usual, I did have very big plans for this Halloween on my channel, but unfortunately I just didn't have the time to do them because I was doing my October horror story readings. That took up most of my time, and I couldn't finish this music video I had planned again. But hopefully that'll be done sometime in November. So today I thought me and you could go for a walk, and talk about life and stuff. I have a few questions from people and philosophical life stuff to discuss that I asked everyone on my Instagram to give me some prompts to talk about. So we're going to talk about them and go outside and have a walk in the dark. It is very dark, but I brought a candle with me, so if we get to the forest I can light a candle, and by candlelight we can have a little bit of a talk. But I thought we'd go out for a walk, and I need to put my fangs in actually, hold on. I moved so much during that transition that I don't know if that worked or not, but I hope it did. So yes, consider this walk and talk with a vampire. A bit like Interview with a Vampire, but just less good. So I've purposefully chosen to go out at this time, because what better time to have a walk if you're allergic to the sun? I mean, you can't really go outside any other time, so apologize to anyone that doesn't enjoy late night walks, but I had no other option, I'm afraid. So right now we're going to walk through the forest. It's going to be probably very dark when we walk through the forest because there's absolutely no light. There's a little bit of light here because there's a clearing in the trees. But once we're in the forest, it'll be very dark indeed. But I have my phone with me because of course we have modern technology now. So I can always light the way with my torch. But we'll see how we go. But isn't it worth going out at night to get that kind of sky? I think it's absolutely beautiful. Got some good distant dog baying. For anyone that's listened to my recording of The Hound by H.P. Lovecraft, probably a bit more scared than you would be if you hadn't, hearing that noise. We probably will encounter some bats as well, and some owls, possibly. Maybe some stags and deer. Right now I'm going to put my torch on though because I don't want to step in any mud. That's the most important thing. Oh, can you hear that? That is an owl. I can hear an owl for sure. Yes, whoa, that is way too bright. Can you hear that? I know that a lot of people are afraid of the dark. I understand that. I think especially when we were more dependent on living outside and we didn't have all this modern technology. I mean, there was bound to be... Oh. Birds? Bound to be birds. Bound to be things in the dark that would be bad and would kill you. I think there's less chance of that happening tonight, but hey, if someone finds this camera, feel free to edit this footage and play it at my funeral. Oh. I love owls. But yes, I do remember that one of the questions I was asked is, do I believe in the supernatural? And I think my answer would be, I wish I did. Part of me does, but a lot of me just can't fathom it with my kind of logical brain. And, you know, I know that this is Walk and Talk with a Vampire, and I'm meant to believe in myself at least. But honestly, I wish I could. Absolutely wish I could. Okay, that's a little nicer. You can kind of see my face. Wow, that's actually quite spooky. That's through my hand. So the red of my blood is currently filtering on my face. And if that isn't the most vampiric thing in the world, I don't know what is. Yeah, supernatural. I am willing to be convinced. I'm willing to be convinced. But I'm yet to see proof that really convinces me, funnily enough. It is incredibly muddy and slippery. And I really don't want to fall over because I'm wearing one of my favourite jackets ever. It was very expensive. You see it? It is rather nice. So I think I'm far enough in the forest to be away from people, so they don't wonder why there's someone talking to themselves in the middle of the wood. I mean, not that I would mind if they knew or saw me, but I think I'm going to light my candle now. There we go, a bit of candlelight. Now, I've got my glove, I'm going to hold the candle in my hand. And that sounds completely insane, and I know, but I am completely insane. So, here we are. I have my candle. There is the dying embers of light behind us. And it doesn't really matter if wax drips on me, because I've got a glove. And the chances of someone else walking this late at night in the forest is very slim. So let's answer some questions. Crown Stitch, who's a lovely person, asks, what makes a good person? And honestly, that's such a hard question to answer because there's so many things that I think are variables when it comes to something like that. I mean, a good person is very different depending on what kind of view you have on other people. Like, I personally think if you're kind and you make an effort to be kind in your everyday life, I think that makes you a good person. But everyone, I know this is such an overused quote, everyone has light and dark inside of them. And I think everyone is a mix of the two. But I honestly think it's almost like a kind of scale. Are you more good or are you more bad as a person? I think that's what you have to think of. They also were saying, are you a bad person for thinking bad things? And I don't think you are. I think the human mind is so complex. And I have intrusive thoughts all the time. I think everyone does. They can be terrible things. But I don't think that makes you a bad person. If you don't act on them, they don't make you a bad person. I think the human mind can go in all mad directions. But as long as you don't act on those things that are horrible or intrusive, then I don't think that makes you a bad person. It's your actions which reflect who you are, I think. This is an interesting question. The next question is also, I apologise for the cars going past there. It's a main road, and I know it's a forest, but there's still cars and roads, and I'm sorry that it can't be horses and carriages in the background. I wish it could be. This question is from great Victor Lockhart fan who has a lot of questions, actually. But I always admire their passion. Their first question is, how do you express that you're good at something without sounding arrogant? That's a very fine line. A very fine line. I feel like arrogant people just don't listen to other people. They just talk about themselves all the time. Maybe that's the wrong view on arrogance, but that's what I see it as. I think if you know you're good at something and you're confident, you should just know you're good at it. And that should be enough. So I don't know if that answers your question, but basically what I'm saying is if you know you're good at something, don't talk about it all the time. Maybe that's a British thing. I don't know. But honestly, the arrogant people I've come across are people that just show off what they're doing all the time and want a lot of compliments. Like, seek out compliments all the time. But I think if you know you're good at something, then you're good at it. But you don't need to go on about it. That's how to not be arrogant. I've got wax dripping all down my hand. Yes, this is kind of a vague question, but it's an emo cosplayer asking just generally about like goth and emo alternative fashion. And I want to go into it talking about this situation right now, the fact that I'm dressed like this in a forest and I have vampire teeth in. And to many people, that would seem completely insane. But I genuinely feel so connected with this style. I feel so connected with the gothic style, always have. It just makes my soul feel happy. And I feel like a lot of people have this misrepresentation of gothic people, thinking that they're miserable, that gothic style is a miserable style, and, you know, it's all about like funerals and stuff. And yeah, that kind of, I mean, I love graveyards. I walk in graveyards all the time. They make me feel peaceful. Does that make me a weird person? Are we going to go back onto the thing of, are you a good or bad person? Does that make me a weird or bad person? That I find those things fascinating and calming? I don't think so. I think it just makes me unique. Well, not unique, there's a whole subculture surrounding it, but you know what I mean. I don't want to hide who I am from the world, and I feel like subcultures are pressured to hide themselves because we are different, even though there are groups of us. We are different from the norm, the normies. There's cows mooing. Can you hear that? My candle is burning down on my hand. I do have another candle, so don't worry. If we run out of light from this one, we can always get the other one. I have found myself through gothic lifestyle and fashion, and it gives me a purpose and a meaning to my life, which seems really sad. But it's not sad to me. It probably seems sad to some people, though. And right now, like, I feel so in my element in the forest in the middle, well, not in the middle of the night. It's early-ish. Ooh, the candle nearly went out there. But I feel so happy right now, talking to you in the forest. And thank you, Car. You just ruined that atmosphere. Thanks a lot. I bet people can see me from the road. I bet they're like, oh my god, what the heck is going on in that forest? And I really hope they do, because that makes me happy. So yeah, that's a weird thing. That I'm made happy by not alarming people, but challenging them from the everyday. I like that. That comforts me. And I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I do that. Okay, this is an interesting one. Someone is saying, what do you like the most about yourself? Okay, and there's a lot of like, what would you change about yourself? What do you not like about yourself? What should you be better at? What do I like about myself? I like my creativity. I like my mind, my imagination. Even on my worst days where I hate everything about myself, my imagination and the fact I can build worlds and ideas in my head, that makes me happy, and that's something I love about myself. And it's why I want to make films, because that's part of that, and that's something I could always do no matter how old I am or how ill I am. I can always do that. It's not dependent on something that is going to be taken away from me, like youth or, you know, anything. I mean, it could be, you know, if I couldn't walk one day, I'd still be able to write stories. I'd still be able to create things, create worlds in my head. Yeah, that's my favorite thing that's what I like about myself. On to the next one is, what don't I like about myself? And I'm going to do a bit of a funny little dance around this question. What I don't like is me not liking things about myself. I do tend to practice quite a lot of self-hate, unfortunately. I have done pretty much all my life. So that's something I don't like about myself, but isn't that quite ironic? I don't like that I nitpick at myself and try to reach perfection when I know that's something that doesn't exist, and it's something that everyone has in their head of what their idea of perfection is. I need to stop doing that. I need to stop criticizing myself and comparing myself. But right now I'm criticizing myself because of the way I criticize myself. Okay, we need to move on. The next one from the same person, which is, I forgot to say, it's Violet Nova who's asked these questions on Instagram. They said, should you change yourself to be better, or should you stay the way you are? I think life is all about changing. I think staying where you are is a silly thing. And I don't mean that in like, like a mad way, like, oh, you should completely change everything about yourself, the things you like and the way you dress. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you should learn from life and adapt as it adapts around you. Learn from your experiences, learn from people, and just keep reaching new heights of mindfulness and humility and all these things. All those things will change as you get older. We're in a constant state of change, and we can't change that. Should you change? Well, it's not that you should, but you will. You're bound to. I just dropped like wax all over my phone. Hot wax. Oh dear. I'm sure it's fine. The same person, Violet Nova, also says, as I read between the wax that I've just dropped on my phone, if you met yourself 10 years ago, is it 10 years? I can't read it properly. What would you say to your younger self? There's a dog and a car. I'm going to wait for them. That's not what I'd say to my younger self. I'm just, I would say, prepare to be surprised. Prepare to be surprised. And I think, we don't know what's around the corner. I did not know what was around the corner when I was younger. I had no idea I'd be sitting here in the forest with a candle speaking to my nearly 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, I think I still need to tell myself prepare to be surprised, because I'm sure there's surprises for me in the future as well. And there's surprises for you as well. For all of us. Here's another one from Great Victor Lockhart fan, saying, what gave you the confidence to be who you are and show it openly? It wasn't necessarily that I got the confidence. I had no other choice because I was miserable. I'm quite a stubborn person. And I know that everyone's different, but when I knew who I was, nothing was going to get in my way. Having that kind of past of being so miserable and not knowing why, and suddenly finding out why, and being able to fix that, having a goal, that was the most wonderful thing to me. And so it wasn't confidence, it was just stubbornness and my problem-solving brain. I just had to. And I guess I'm still gaining confidence as I go on with it. Oh my god, my candle's burning down so far. It's going to start. Oh god, my fingers are actually attached to the candle. Was this a good idea? I don't know. Is it aesthetically pleasing for you? It's getting very dark now. I might have to head back and answer the rest of the questions in the comfort of my home. Ooh. Was that a gunshot? I think we should go home. So my phone is actually running out of battery. And if it runs out of battery, I have no torch. And I'm still in the forest. So hopefully my night vision will kick in when it dies and I can find my way back. Oh dear. This has been an interesting vlog so far. I can see street lights. So we're getting close. And my night vision has kind of kicked in, but I'm going to say that and then I'm going to trip up and fall flat on my face. Some vampire I am. Can you hear the geese? You probably won't be able to because there's a bloody car going past. But once they've gone, if you listen carefully, you might hear the Canadian geese. Such a strange noise, isn't it? I think they're getting closer. Definitely getting closer. I think they're going overhead now. I am back home. And I'm so cold. My hands felt like they were gonna fall off. So that wasn't fun. But it was nice being able to do that for a bit anyway. I'm gonna keep my jacket on for a bit so I can actually warm up. My room is boiling, but you know that feeling when like your house is boiling but you've been in from the cold and your extremities are just like... And my phone completely perished on me, although that's the wax that dropped from when I was holding the candle. I actually got some wax on Osmo as well, which is very annoying. Luckily not on his lens, just on the body. So this is less of a walk and talk, more like a walk for a little bit, sit down, get cold, come back home and talk. So, yeah. Yay me. Do you know what we could do though? We could pretend we were still in the forest by switching off all the lights in my room. I could light the candle again, and then it would just basically be the same shot, but I would be less cold. Okay. Yeah, see, it's like basically the same shot, but it's way more comfortable for me because I'm actually in my room, not in a forest. I want to continue on one of the questions that I was talking about earlier that Great Victor Lockhart fan asked, which was about how do you find the confidence to be yourself? And their kind of second half of that question was, what advice would you give to someone who is afraid to be themselves? And like I said before, for me, it was not necessarily confidence. It was just, I have to do this. And I know that will be different for everyone. I know that everyone's situation will be different because I was lucky enough to be in a supportive environment. And that's something that's a huge blessing. I know how privileged I am. God, my nose is dripping. I'm sorry about that. I know how privileged I am to have that situation. And I think that's why that question confuses me, because it was never a question of worrying if my family would reject me. And I know that a lot of people have that worry. Unfortunately, I am ignorant on the situation. And you'll have to forgive me for that, because I can't possibly know what it's like to be in that situation. You've only got one life, you know? And I feel like that's something that I always tell myself every day, that I want to make my life as meaningful as possible while I'm on this earth. I couldn't sit by idly and just watch it pass. You know, I want to be active every second of my life. And sometimes I'm too active. I'm a workaholic. I don't stop. And that's a problem. I would advise you, if you're struggling to find the confidence, if you're in a safe place, you're struggling to find the confidence to be who you are, then keep telling yourself that. You only have one life. Do you want to live it as a lie, as someone you're not? Or do you want to live it as you? I know which one I'd pick, and I know which one I have picked, but I have the privilege to do that, and some people aren't as lucky. I just got some hot wax. Lovely. Oh, that's lovely. It's just dripping down my leg. I don't mind. I actually quite like wax. I like the feeling of wax on my fingers and stuff. I actually often dip my fingers into candles to get the hot wax on them. But I just thought for, you know, safety, I probably should wear a glove. I'm chaotic as an individual. You know this by now. This is another one from Great Victor Lockhart fan. They have a lot of questions and I'm loving it. Like, how does your ideal inspirational place look? Which is such an interesting concept to think about. Honestly, mine is, funnily enough, a kind of foresty garden. Like a walled forest garden with roses and ivy and Virginia creeper and all those plants, with gravestones and statues, a beautiful Gothic cathedral or castle, Gothic architecture of some kind, completely overrun by plants. I love the idea. I think I'm actually like deep down poison ivy, because I like the whole idea of poison ivy, like, you know, letting plants take over. I'm up for that. I'm totally up for plants taking over the world. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I feel like it would have to be moonlight. It'd have to be moonlight. Or kind of sunrise or sunset, just at either end of that spectrum, where the light is really special and like either golden or purpley or pink. You know, just something about the light that's different. Or possibly a blood moon or a harvest moon that's making everything slightly orange. Yeah, that's what my kind of ideal inspirational place looks like. I would just feel so happy. I feel like I've talked for so long. I feel like this video is so long. But I want to do more of these. I'm not going to answer all of them because I would be here forever, and I want to eventually let you go and enjoy your Halloween. I want to apologize for the fact that I didn't get, yet again, a Halloween special big, you know, CMV or music video done this year. This year has been hectic. It's been quite a hard year for my mental health, which isn't something I've been super open about. I don't like to be too graphic when I talk about my mental health online because I don't want to trigger people, and I always want to be a positive YouTuber. I never want to, you know, I know I've uploaded a few videos where I've talked about bad things that have happened to me or whatever, but I always want to have a positive spin on things, and I didn't want to go into massive detail about my mental health this year, but it has been quite hard. But things are getting better. I'm feeling so much better, and I really feel like maybe next year if I get my surgery, because that's been delayed once again. After my surgery, I feel like that will be my kind of phoenix moment once again, and I can just create my films and do it without pain and difficulty breathing and all the things that you have to put up with binding and all that stuff. I'm amazed it's Halloween already. Feels like last Halloween was a blink of an eye in the past. It's mad. It's mad how time flies. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's a little odd, but hopefully it'll be something nice for you to watch on Halloween. And watch this space for more films. And thank you for the people that enjoyed my reading series, which I absolutely loved doing. And I would love to continue it on and off. I won't do one every week because it's a lot of work. But if you want me to continue doing the reading series, comment below. I could put a poll up or something. A poll or a poll. I don't know, I say poll. And let me know if you want me to continue the reading series. I mean, I probably will, regardless of if you say yes or no, but, you know, I just like to see what you're thinking. But, anyway, for now, happy Halloween. And thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you very soon.